Okay, friends. Last unit was about milling machine and some operations. Then this gear manufacturing, which can be considered as output of milling machine. Gear manufacturing is mainly done on milling machine. Okay, so let's see which things we are going to study in gear manufacturing. Okay, as this gear is a very vital part of our day-to-day life. Okay, so today we are going to study about this gears, uh, gear manufacturing methods, what is gear hobbing, gear shaping, and different gear finishing techniques. Okay, so let's start with this lecture or this unit, that is gear manufacturing. Gear is so what is gear? Gear is a toothed wheel which has evenly spaced tooth on its periphery. Okay, so no need to tell you what is actually gear is. Everybody have come across these gears. Okay, the gear when meshed with other gears transmit motion from one point to another point. Okay, so you might have seen different gear drives. Different drives of transferring powers like bear drives, gear drive, some hydraulic type, or many more. Okay, from this, these gear drives are transmit the motion and mesh with each other to transmit the motion. They transmit the motion point to point. Okay, gear transmits motion from one shaft to another shaft without any slippage due to meshing teeth of the gear. Gears are manufactured by casting, stamping, machining, or powder metallurgy processes. The most common and accurate method of production of gear is by machining. Okay, the same part of that machining, gear machining, we are going to study. Okay, let's see first how many types of gears are there before they are going to or study. Before studying their manufacturing, we will see what are the type of these gears. Okay, let's go through it. Few criteria are applied for gear classification. You can see there three ways of classification of gear is there, according to the position of shaft, then according to the peripheral velocity of gears, and then according to the type of meshing of gears. Okay, that means if the gear mesh is point to point, or it is a linear meshing or surface meshing. Okay, depending on that, let's see how the gears are classified, and let's see the type of gears. First thing is given classification of gear according to the position of shaft of the axis. This is the main classification criteria. Okay, depending on this shaft position, okay, we are going to classify. Okay, depending on that, we have to select our gears. Okay, let's start with that. First one is parallel shaft axis. Okay, or parallel shafts like this. If the power is transmitted through two parallel shaft, okay, like in our gearbox of automobile, in the automobile gearbox, these two shafts are parallel to each other. In that particular parallel shaft transmission, spur gear, helical gear, and rack and pinion gears are used for transmitting the motion between two parallel shafts. We have to use spur gear, helical, or rack and pinion type. Okay, now next one is intersecting shaft. That means like this: if two shafts are intersecting, in that case, if they are perpendicularly intersecting or intersecting at any angle, then in that case we have to use a special type of gear, that is BVL gears. Okay, that you might have seen in differential. Okay, differential, in the differential gearbox, you have to transmit the motion perpendicular to the axis. Okay, that means this type of BVL gear are there, which is connected to the another BVL gear, which is transmitting the motion to the two wheels. Okay, generally the BVL gears are shown in figure, or we are going to see in further lecture or in next topic. Okay, this BVL gear are depending on this. What is spur gear, helical gear are depending on the tooth. Spur gear are having parallel tooth. In BVL helical gear, helical tooth are there, and in rack and pinion it is special type. We will see that. In the same way, depending on the gear tooth contour, we have this type of bevel gears, that is straight bevel gear, spiral bevel gear, and hyper bevel gear. Okay, now another one is non-parallel, non-intersecting. Okay, that means this is non-parallel, and this is non-intersecting. That means when the two gears, or when two shafts are in two different planes. Okay, if these two shafts are in I will say three different planes. Okay, for two planes we have to use this bevel, and the gears having the orientation in three planes, we have to use this non-parallel and non-intersecting. In that case, we are going to use spiral gears and worm wheel. Okay, spiral gears and worm wheel. Okay, in this way the classification of the gears depending on position. Okay, we have not classified by other two ways. Okay, there are total three ways of classification, but we are going to see just by this depending on position of gears. We are going to classify this gears. Okay, this is what first thing, depending on position of gears. Okay, let's see one by one all these gear. From that first type, spur gear. Okay, you can see on the screen spur gear. Okay, here pinion. From that small one, here you can see the two gear of different diameter. Smaller diameter is called as pinion, P-I-N-I-O-N, pinion, and the gear with bigger diameter is called as fill or gear. Okay, this spur gear have the tooth linear or parallel with the axis of the shaft. Okay, you can see there the side view and 3D view of, or isometric view of the gear is shown. Okay, you can see over there. Okay, spur gear are used when the axis of two shafts are parallel to each other. These gear are have teeth parallel to the axis of the shaft as shown in figure. Now helical gears. In helical gear, the teeth are at some angle called helix angle. Okay, helical gear, these are at same that of spur gear, but just what is the difference between spur gear and helical gear? Spur gear have parallel teeth, but in case of helical gear, the contour is of helical type. Okay, helical contour is there like this. Okay, like this gears are on this helical gear. Let's see that here you can see. Okay, and this angle is called as helix angle. The angle between shaft and the axis of shaft and this contour of this helical gear is called as helix angle. Okay, you can see this helical gears. The helical gear, the teeth are at some angle called helix angle alpha with respect to axis of the shaft as shown in figure. Now next from that, is a rack and pinion. Is a special case of spur gear in which one gear is having infinite diameter called rack. Okay, infinite diameter means what? It is actually straight, and the rack and pinion is used to transmit the rotary motion into reciprocating motion or vice versa. Okay, you can see down there rack and pinion. Okay, this gear with infinite radius means what? It is almost straight. This straight gear is called as rack, and this we know smaller one is called as pinion. Okay, this is spur pinion and this is rack. This rack and pinion can also be transmit the motion with the helical gear. Okay, the advantages are that it uses point to point motion transmission and it uses linear motion transmission. This is the basic difference between helical and spur gear, but it does not matter much more. Okay, let's see more things about this spur gear. So rack and pinion. Rack is what? It is the gear with infinite diameter, and pinion. The rack and pinion is used to, okay, one more basic difference is what? Linear motion to rotary or rotary to linear. Okay, this is generally used in the steering mechanism. Okay, steering wheel. The steering wheel rotates rotate, and this rotary motion is used or transmitted linearly with this rack. You can definitely observe this in our steering gear mechanism. Okay, now you can see over here this figure of rack and pinion. Another is bevel gear. Okay, bevel gear are of again three types: straight bevel, spiral bevel, and hypoid bevel. Okay, again remind that where these bevel gears are used when the shafts are intersecting. Okay, when power is equal transmitted from one shaft to another shaft which are intersecting to each other, then the bevel gear are used. Generally the angle between two shafts is 90 degree. The bevel gear are of three types. First is straight, spiral, and hypoid. Okay, you can see on the screen straight bevel gears. Okay, that means the gear contour is almost straight. Okay, straight bevel gear, the teeth are formed straight on the corner and they are parallel to the axis of the gear as shown in figure. Okay, you can see this. This is smaller one is called as bevel pinion, and this is bevel gear, bigger one. Then next one is spiral bevel gear. In spiral bevel gear, the teeth are formed at an angle, okay, with respect to each axis as shown in figure. The contact between two machine teeth is gradual and smooth from start to end. Okay, the power transmission is steady in the spiral bevel gear. Okay, this type of are generally used in differential gearbox. Next one is hypoid. Okay, you can see the contour is quite different. Okay, hypoid bevel gears, these are look like spiral, but these are not spiral. The equation for their curve is different than spiral. Okay, it is quite like a okay, we can say hyperbolic contour is there for that hypoidal bevel gear. Okay, these gear are also used for right angle drive in which the axes do not intersect. Okay, this type of hypoidal bevel for transmitting the motion if the axes are not intersecting but should be perpendicular. Okay, next one is spiral gear. Okay, spiral gear are used to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft which are non-parallel and non-intersecting. Okay, you can see that case on the right side, on the left side also. Okay, Spiral gears are shown in figure. See that properly. The shaft are non-parallel and do not intersect also. Okay. Then worm and worm wheel. This worm and worm wheel what? To obtain very high gear ratio. That means, like, if the 100 rotation of this result in one rotation of this axis, such type of gear ratio, for such type of gear ratio, this type of worm and worm wheel is used. But in this case, the motion is just transmitted from this worm to this worm wheel. Okay, the worm wheel cannot rotate this worm. Okay, so only worm wheel, sorry, this worm can only rotate this worm wheel. Worm wheel cannot rotate this worm. That means this is a self-locking gear. Okay, this is self-locking gear which may be used in we can say what we say that chain blocks. Okay, in the chain blocks such type of gears are used. Okay, worm and worm wheel are used to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft, which are non-intersecting and their axes are normally right angle to each other. Okay, now here gear material. Let's see gear material. What should be the material of gear that we have to discuss over here? Okay, let's see gear material. Gear material may be of two types, metallic and non-metallic. Okay, depending on the accuracy or machinability, this gear are to be, or gear material is to be selected. Okay, metallic gear are of two types, ferrous metal and non-ferrous material. Ferrous material is generally used for heavy application, and this non-ferrous material is used for generally light loads. And let's see which material can hold heavy load. First one is cast iron, second one is cast steel, medium and high carbon steel, and alloy steel. Okay, these are the ferrous material used to manufacture the gear to bear heavy loads. And non-ferrous, in non-ferrous material it is in aluminium and bronze. Okay, in non-metallic material, wood, plastic and fiber. Okay, you might have seen this wooden gears at the that you can say that juice mill. Okay, where you get the juice of that sugar cane in the summer. You might have seen over there these wooden gears are generally used. Okay, and these plastic gears and these fiber gears are generally used in the toy cars. Okay, so this type of these are the application of this gear material, or where this gear material can be used. The material are shown. Okay, next let's see different method of gear manufacturing. Let's discuss about them. Okay, how to manufacture this gear, this is given. Let's see that. To manufacture gear, different method we have given. Okay, let's discuss about that. There may be 4 or 5 method, or 5 or 6 method of gear manufacture for us. Let's we have to discuss about that. Here, casting, stamping, rolling, powder metallurgy technique, extrusion, plastic molding and machining. In this lecture, in this unit, especially we are going to study the machining process, in which forming method, template method and generating method. In forming method, there are three type of again: on a shaping planing machine, or on this milling machine, and on a crushing machine. And in generating method, gear shaping, gear hobbing, gear planing, and bevel gear generation. We are specially in this lecture, in this unit, gear hobbing, gear shaping, and this shaping process we are going to study. Okay, so look at this proper. Casting method means what? In this directly molten material is poured in the die to get the gear. In the stamping, that means if gear uh, of very thin thickness, if thickness of gear is very thin and application is not quite very accurate, in that case stamping gear are used. That means stamping is what? Punching this shapes into the thin sheet. This stamping is used. Now rolling means what? For the hot any hot that if hot gear blank is pressed against a gear of standard shape, then in that case this rolling or this process is called as rolling process. Then is powder metallurgy technique. Powder metallurgy is what? Powder of different if the composite if the gear of composite material is to be formed with very high accuracy and we can say high precision gears is to be manufactured, in that case this powder metallurgy is used for manufacturing gear of composites, okay, which have a special application. Okay, this technique is used, powder metallurgy, in which powder of the metals or different material is used for manufacturing. Next one is extrusion. That means the hot ballet is passed through a die which is of gear shape. This is called as extrusion process. Then another one is plastic molding, that you may have come across. Same as casting, this plastic molding is done. Then machining, in which we are going to study this hobbing process and shaping process. Okay, in next lecture we will study about this manufacturing process. Today we will stop here. Thank you.